Okay, guys, good afternoon. So I'm a bit late. I was just taking a quick couple of micros. Where is... I'm missing something here. Where's that gone? Oh, there it is. Okay. What was on top? Okay. I was just doing a couple of quick micros. Okay. My lag is up again for some reason. Let's have a look. Time sync. I don't know why it's up again. Sync. See if that sorts it out. I really don't know why that's doing that. Let me just quickly reboot this. Let me just quickly shut down NinjaTrader. And reopen it. Excuse me 1 second. Started doing that for some reason. I don't quite know why. So Armanas, how you doing, bud? Very bullish. It certainly looks that way, doesn't it? I've literally just come to the chart about 5 minutes ago. I've been out doing a few errands. Speedy, how you doing, buddy? Be fast. How are you, my friend? Hopefully this should sort the lag out. It did the other day. I don't know why it started going again. It's the first time it's done that for 8 months, 9 months. If we can place a stop order somewhere away from current price and adjust that price about a point or two whenever, as long as it doesn't stay orange, we move, then don't worry about it. Yeah, it is sorted out now. I seem to remember it caused a problem with slippage. I might be wrong, but I'm sure it was about 9 months ago. I was on the stream and it was doing it, and the sync down here, usually I'd right click and adjust time and date and click sync, but it stopped working. And someone mentioned to download it, and I downloaded it, and it's been perfect ever since. Nomad J, how you doing? Right, I haven't had time to sort that out, but you'd be glad to know we've now got 80% off. So let me just adjust this quickly. Excuse me 1 second. It's 80% off. Bum, bum, 80. And half price resets. And it's 50% off. Right, if I put those all in capitals. Resets. Okay, so let me just make that nicely in the middle, and that should be okay. Beautiful. So that's that. I'll be with you in a second. I'm a bit behind today. And that's 80% off. Excellent. Okay, and beautiful. Okay. Yeah, good news. Is there any way of buying 9 counts without doing it? There isn't. Why? I do not know. Doesn't make sense to me. If you're going to encourage people to sign up for lots of them, surely you could make it easy. At least do it in... I don't know whether they do that because if people accidentally sign up to Rhythmic instead of Tradeovate, I don't know. Maybe they should just allow you to do it in blocks of 5. I know it is a bit long-winded, isn't it? Which is surprising. You tend to think that they're going to, if they want to sign people up, to multiple accounts, you think they'd find some way. I don't know why they do it, to be honest with you. Whether it is something to do with, I get sometimes people sign up for Tradeovate instead of Rhythmic by accident. And they used to reset it, but they have said now that they won't. And in fact, if I remember rightly, I even had to sort of click a box and just say that I wouldn't do it. Why am I in here? Unlock. Okay, so
order filled
quickly because I think it's a very small risk. Let's give it an extra tick. It is a failure technically, and I am only on a sim anyway.
Stop filled.
Okay, it is a bit flat there in all fairness. Okay, anyway. It is a sim anyway, so it's not a major issue. Okay, so we've had a break, new high drug. I once tried twice, fairly. It was a very small risk. So, yeah, but it's booger. When lagger, you mean a bugger? Check engine, like, yeah, I know what you mean. Indy, how you doing, mate? How you doing? Okay. Let's have a look. All right, let's have a look. Say, second entry long. Yeah, I took that one. I wouldn't have taken it on a what's it to be in all fairness. There is a higher low coming there, isn't there, by the looks of things?
Order submitted.
Ah, right. My only slight concern here, I'm leaving this.
Order
And I'll tell you
cancelled.
why. Because we got a little channel here, and this is a first break, so I think there's a good chance we may come down and break the lows. And in all fairness, I think it's fair to assume there is likely going to be the top of a range there, so I think that is a trap. It is a higher low, but the fact that that's touching the top 3 times, I think should make you question it. But the fact that we've got a channel down here with the break, normally have a new low. Let's see. If it comes down there, it'll take that out. If it pushes up there above there, I'd say there's a good chance we're going to go up. It's kind of nice to have a little bit of time, actually, to experiment with this. I kind of like, it was quite useful yesterday to trade on a sim for a little bit, because it does give you time to have a little play around. So this at the moment I think is slightly bearish, so I wouldn't be happy taking a long there. Now if that had been a first break out of there, then I may have done, but we've already had a break and a new high. So let's see what happens. This now to me looks like it's coming down. Let's see what happens here. It is a high low, it may hold. We'll see, but I wouldn't take it now. I think you know, when we have a break and a new high and another top as well, I think it's good to assume there may be some resistance, like possibly a top of a range. Yeah, so if you'd have took that one, second entry long so far. Yeah. So. Do you know what? It's very tempting to take that higher low. I absolutely get why people have taken it. I absolutely get it. But this to me is a channel with a break. Now, what happens to a channel with a break? We usually make a new low, don't we? So that kept me out of that trade. Now, would I have traded that? It's very, very tempting. What I tend to do now, so many days now, somebody told me about 85% of the time it tends to go sideways. So I think when you've had 3 touches of a level like that, it's probably best to assume it may be the top of a range. So be careful going long. So I looked at that. In fact, I had an order open. I was very tempted because that's the type of trade that works. But the fact that we've had a break and we've hit this area 3 times makes me have that little bit of a question. But then the fact that we've got a channel here with a break, normally you'd expect a new low. I got conflicting. This is telling me it looks like it's going up. That's telling me it's coming down. So when I get conflicting pictures like that, I think the best thing to do is to stay out, and that would have saved me a loss. So that one was, well, would I have taken that? Not into there, really. You know, I know some people say you shouldn't take it then if it's on a sim, but I don't know. You naturally, you can't help but be a little bit, you know, more have a go on a sim. But this picture to me is a break and a new low, so I can't go along there. Did anybody take that high low? I bet there will be some people taking it because normally it's not a bad trade, although those bars aren't, they're still very small. But I bet there will be people who'll take it. I bet a lot of people will have that channel maybe, I don't know, like this. In fact, actually, that's probably best to just leave it like that. Then we've had a break. We've got a touch here, perfect touch here, perfect touch here. It fits lovely there. And then we got a break. I probably would have, my candles were different. I haven't reloaded my historic. Let's sort that out now. Yeah, I wouldn't have taken that normally because we've got 3 bars like that being held by the EMA and we've had a little pullback and we've come down. So where's my oh, I've just reloaded. So yeah, that's why I like having a different perspective. They basically do the thing. If this goes up, that goes up. If this comes down, that comes down. So they tend to work in tandem, really. I don't know really which is the more dominant one. But it's nice because I absolutely get why people... Yeah, it still looks okay, that. We've got... It looks like a leg and a leg. And then we're holding... And then you may take that one. If not, there's a higher low there. I mean, it looks like it's holding price, doesn't it? You know, we've had a couple of attempts to go. We've got 2 legs down. Looks like it's holding price. Relatively nice bullish bar. And then a higher low, a tick off its high. Why wouldn't you go there? So if you'd have gone there or there, it come down and stopped you both out. So... just, you know, I'm usually aware about going long when I see something like this, 3 touches. Because it does seem to spend so much of its time going sideways. There is a second entry short there, but it's into these lows. We've got a bit of support there, so 1, 2, 3, 4 touches. I'm staying out of that. It may well work. But also looking on the NQ now, we've had this channel, we've had a break and a new low, and we've pulled up and retested again, so we may push back up. It's possible, which is another reason for me not to take that. And not only that, Max says make sure there's always room to the lows. There isn't. It's right on the lows. There's four touches there. You don't know it's going to do that. So who have I missed? Let me have a look. Jay, how you doing? If it tries to, we've said hello. Diddle Indy, said hello. Chad, how you doing, buddy? Looks like spike and channel. So me, still need a new high. Yeah. To be honest with you, about there. There's a channel there and a break, so there's probably something there. The trouble is, I don't know how many times we'll have a channel up like that, no break or nothing, and it will just drop. So if it's in a range, it's relevant to a degree that it needs to make a new high. Because obviously when it hits the top or the bottom, usually obviously in a range you've got, sellers up here and buyers down here. So we don't necessarily have that break and new high. So for me, there's a channel there with the break. 1, 2, 3 pushes up to a new high, retested it. We sort of hit it twice there, pulled back, retested it again. So it could just come straight down. It's a bit hard to say at the moment. H, how you doing, mate? How are you doing? I probably would, but Mike. Oh, right. Okay. So yeah, I have reloaded those. So this is current all-time highs. So let's put that there and just lock it off. So it's a bit of a... That's a bit unusual, but yeah, it's another good reason to have that other chart on. So yeah, there was a second entry there, but you can't go short into that really. Definitely not. We got 1, 2, 3, and that finished there. It's just it's going into resistance. Just the fact that it worked doesn't matter. Same again. You got a touch there, 4 touches there. We could go up, come down here, bounce up and push up. It could tick one tick below that bar and come back up, and we could end up doing, you know, a little bit of sideways up here. So you just can't take that really. Do you know, I got a question for you. I don't know if you guys remember. Hold fire a second. There is an overshoot there. Yeah, I'm staying out that minute. There was a trade I took yesterday. It was a second entry long. Where was it? Where was it? No, it wasn't that one. I can't remember what it was. And I think it was Laufey mentioned which of those trades I took. It was one. That was it there, yeah. It's a second entry short. And it came down, yeah. Second entry short. So we got a leg down, 2 legs up, second entry short. Mac marked that one as well. It came down. It hit my 3 points and bounced. So, but the next one, we had that channel down like this. And I remember saying, for me, that is a little bit far off. So I ummed and ahed about that one, but it touched it on the NQ. So what I'm going to quickly do is just bring in Mac's chart. Mac actually adjusted it, which I don't know why he does that sometimes, but I've noticed he does that a lot. So let's see what you guys think of this. This is another reason I really like doing this stream, because it does give us a chance to... where was this chart from yesterday? Okay, that's it there. Let's just knock the sound off. So yeah, here we go. So let's just quickly look at that from yesterday. I ummed and ahed. I wasn't sure about that because it's quite far from the EMA, and not just the EMA, the trend channel as well. So I've touched here perfectly, touched there 3 times, and it's a bit short. The only reason I took it is because of it was on the NQ. But looking at Mac's chart from yesterday, where is it? Okay. What he's done, he's gone from here, and he's put that line straight through those bars. Now, obviously, it's a lot closer there, so I don't quite know. I notice he does that a lot. Normally, you go from there, wouldn't you? And then we got 2 legs down, and then we got a swing. So there's your next swing high. So normally, you put that line at the top of your bars, which then would bring that top of the trend channel a bit further out, like I had it. But I would take that now because it's closer. But look at that. I don't know how you guys feel about that, but it doesn't seem to make much sense to me sometimes. If you look, you know, I went from the top to that next sort of swing high. He connects wicks. Yeah, but he's not connecting wicks there, is he? He's gone from the top of the wick, which I have, and I would put that line right on top of the bar there, where price finishes. There we have the higher the bar there, but I will put that on top of that. That's normally how you would put it. You would join these up here, here, and so on. So whether he just knocks this up quickly and doesn't really pay a lot of attention to it, I don't know. But that's how he taught me on his videos. We go from here to the next level, but he's put it straight through the middle of those bars. You know, it's right through the middle of that bar. You've cut off part of the top of that bar there. I think he made the channel by joining the bottom. Yeah, well, you shouldn't do that really, because you go from the first 2 swings and hopefully the rest is, do you know what I mean? So I would take that there because it's close, and that's how close it was on the what's it. But if you look at the rest of them, he does have them so they fit. I don't know. He's sort of done it there, but sometimes that is the oddest looking channel. It doesn't make any sense at all there. I would draw his channel after the fact, But until, yeah, so maybe it does that. But look at that. Isn't that not the strangest attempt of a channel? It doesn't seem to make any sense, does it, that? No, it's not exact science, but do you know what I mean? Does that make sense to you? Straight through the middle of those? It's not a trend channel. Surely you would pick it up and adjust it till it. If you put it from there, it would touch there and touch there perfectly anyway. So I don't know. I don't know why he does it sometimes. I might have to email him. But sometimes he makes them fit perfectly. You don't know whether sometimes he just knocks them up quickly at the end. Do you know what I mean? I don't know. But to me, that would be the correct way of doing it, because you want it to, hopefully, to line up. I don't know. Sometimes he does unusual channels. I mean, I don't know. I look a lot more on content than exactly. Yeah, it's definitely got something to do with it, isn't it? But the trouble is, if you're accurate with these, because I know when I used to post my charts, a couple of years ago, a lot of them would say you've got the channel slightly wrong. It needs to touch the bottom. It's odd. Touches perfectly, and touches there. The trouble is, if you get it slightly wrong, it can affect a trade. If it's touching here but broken here, do you adjust it so it fits, or do you consider it a break? Yeah, maybe. He's never mentioned that, though. If you watch any of the videos on his website, he doesn't mention that. He mentions just connecting one to the next swing. And that way, you get that proper picture that when we have a break, because if we have a break, if the channel's like that and we have a break, I mean, that channel fits perfectly. But if I make it fit like that, that might be a break. So I'm waiting for two legs back. And if you adjust it to where it maybe should be, you can come down then, see if I'm looking to go long. So it just doesn't make a lot of sense to me. It's just one of those little question marks I have. But you don't know whether he sort of gets the chart and goes over it again at the end of the day. And, obviously time's and money, isn't it? You don't know whether he sort of rushes it a little bit. It's connecting the close of the bar. Maybe. Yeah, he is, isn't he? Yeah. See, I think trend lines are important because, if you have a break. Yeah. Yeah, it does, doesn't it? Because if you look at some of his videos where he shows you live trades, they are bang on. And when he shows you in the training videos, these are bang on. Because, I mean, look how well that fits. Let's just adjust that a touch. Look how well that fits. And it touches and fits perfect there, and it does the side. But, if you go like that to get it to fit, till it fits nice, technically you've got a break. So if you have two legs up and a second entry short, and I think I'm leaving it, I think I'm taking it because we've had a break, it does affect. I don't know. Does that look better? I don't quite know. Perhaps I should email him and see what he says. But actually, that looks quite nice, doesn't it? But to me, that almost looks like a two-tiered channel, doesn't it? Because we've got a touch and touch. And if you look, it's working beautifully in this top tier. So, and if I look at people like Marco's charts and that, he tends to, fit them really nice. But who knows? Yeah, I mean, there's one of Marco's charts there. Where was it? There. I mean, here, right to the next swing, touch, touch, touch. Fits perfectly. There's the break, there's the new high, but same again, we've got a perfect touch. See how they're fitting beautifully? Even this one, touching perfectly there, fitting perfectly there, fitting perfectly. There's not a thing wrong with that at all. It fits perfectly. Usually he tells you to go from that first swing to the next bar, and then usually if you connect the dots, see how well it fits, and then obviously there's our break, 2 legs up to a new high, then we have a correction, then price goes up. But I don't know, it's just some of the things I see, because it can affect what your trades are, because obviously that one yesterday, part of the reason why I never took it, because it did look out of line a bit, but I don't know. Okay, so we've got this channel down here. We've had an overshoot of it, and we've had what looks like a correction. So there is a possibility that there may be an area of interest there which could sort of start to work in a range. It's early days yet. So if anybody doesn't know, I'm just on a sim at the moment. Those 2 evaluations have now passed. I just did 2 quick micros. I think one of them goes live day after tomorrow, another one a couple of days after that. So I just quickly went on to micros and just did a quick tick. You're either up or down a couple of dollars. Whether you win or lose, I just buy or sell. It doesn't really matter. It's irrelevant. There's plenty enough in there to cover the next couple of days. I was hoping we get a minimum 1 day pass, as well as that 80% off, so these could go live. We have the last couple of times we've had this 80%. They've had the minimum 1 day. Yeah, exactly, Chad. I would draw the channel. I did read it, but I didn't read it again. I wouldn't draw, but how would you know? That's what I mean. Until after the fact, you wouldn't know to connect the top and the bottom and miss the middle, would you? Which tells me you don't know whether he goes over the whole chart, because what you see in real time isn't necessarily what you see at the end of the day. At the end of the day, it's completely different. You can't quite see the chart really until the end of the days come, because obviously if you see the context, things make sense. Mac marks what he calls the high probability trades of the day, but in all essence, really, sometimes if he picks a dozen, there isn't a dozen high probability trades. There may be 2 or 3, but the trouble is, if he takes a trade and it doesn't work, he won't mark it. So he only marks trades that work. So it can cloud you a little bit, can't it? There's no way. It's just a big uptrend in play. But if you connect those 2 early swings, just bounce off. Are you on about? There's no way that's a big of an uptrend in play. But if you connect those early 2 swings, it just bounces off right at the. I got this little icon thing which cover the last word. Is it right off at the top or something? Yeah. Yeah, I wish he'd, at the end of the day, he'd go, okay, this is what I saw. What I would consider the best trades of the day would be that one and that one. I wish he'd say that at the end of the day, because, I want to know which trades he would have taken. It's okay marking a dozen trades, but I know he's said in the past, on a number of occasions, he takes about 2 to 3 trades a day. But if he marks a dozen of them, you would think if they were high probability trades, surely he would take them. So I wish, I've said it many times anyway. I know I just seem to be rambling on sometimes, but sometimes when you're learning something and you somebody's teaching you, you want to find what they do. You want to get into his head a bit. Yeah. Oh, I know he doesn't mean he took them. I know he said he only takes 2 to 3 a day, but if he marks a dozen, sometimes I think for newbies it can make you think that there's that many trades out there, and sometimes they're thinking, well, if he's taking a dozen, if I take 6, I'm somewhere near. Start the lowest swinger today, bounce off. You on about here? Are you on about there? Yeah, I mean that's way too much of a big channel to start with, isn't it? Now, if it comes up here and bounces here and then comes back to here, then yeah. Trouble is, if you do that sometimes, and I used to really, and it may work, but sometimes my bias then was taking long trades. Do you know what I mean? And if we were up here, and you get a second entry long, you might go long, but you might go long into this possible area here. So I tend to avoid the bigger ones straight away. But what I usually do, if we're coming back here, is put something like this. I had a chat with Marco a few months back, and he mentioned to me about keeping, not Marco, was it Marco? Can't remember. Forget the bigger stuff. Yes, the bigger stuff can give you a guidance, but concentrate on the smaller stuff, because we're only taking small amounts. If we were taking 15 points for the day, then it would be more important to have the bigger stuff. But obviously you want to know if there's an area that, if we do come up here and bounce and you're thinking, okay, now it seems like but we'll see. So it's hard to say at the moment. We've had sort of 2 pushes up, and then it's not very clear at the moment, in all honesty. I think there's a chance we could just have a bit of a range here, and if we do and come back here, I don't really want to get confused and think about taking a long if we're bounced off here and coming down. So yeah, I mean, if I see areas like that, then yeah, it makes perfect sense just to put that there, because if it does come down here and you're thinking about taking a short, might just think twice. It is, it's certainly good to be aware of these areas. But I think this is just something you pick up over time with experience, isn't it? You notice things, and, obviously when you lose a trade, it's actually what it is. I suppose most people see it as absolutely frustrating and annoying, but what it does is it really gives you a lesson. You get way more value from your losses than you ever do on your wins. But it's hard to see it like that sometimes, because you're so desperate to be successful at it. I got to say, it's way harder than I ever dreamt it would be. I never thought I had that little control over my emotions. Until I became a parent, nothing scared me. Nothing frightened me in the slightest. And then when I had my daughter, I turned into a gibbering wreck. But I always thought I was 100% in control of my emotions, and it just goes to show, especially when you put money on the line, how little control you can have sometimes. Kids do that to you. I don't know if most of you have got kids, probably, but it's like a proper chink in your armour. Yeah, the price action's a little bit confusing at the moment, isn't it? I think on the NQ it probably looks a little bit more clear. Whether that is the case or not, it's hard to say, but got a few touches here and a few here. Touch, touch, touch. So I think it's safe to say it's in a range at the moment. It's quite like this. It is having a different aspect, isn't it? Just a slightly different picture. What are you saying, Chris? Even after doing Mac for 5 years, I'm still 100% convinced the system is profitable. You don't think? See, I don't think I have a problem making money. My issue is keeping it. I can build an account. I don't think trading one contract is profitable unless you can afford to do it with a runner. Because if you're only making 1 point, I took a trade the other day and the bar was for 4.25 points. So if you're risking 4.25 points to make a point, you've got to be one hell of a good trader to do that realistically, unless you're very good at your runners and you make money from your runners. I believe in the strategy 100% because I've got accounts up. The bit that gets to me is when I get close to that $2,600 mark, and it's like an area that we all know that's where your payday can come. And I think sometimes, obviously, there's psychology, but I've built enough accounts now to know that I can make money. My issue is keeping it. Once those emotions kick in, they can be a little bit overwhelming, which is why it's such a, it's so written about. Okay, so we've had this, we've had an overshoot, we've had a push up, we've had a leg down, and we have pushed strongly off this. And I think you mentioned in that, Chad, just the fact that reacted like this, I think was important. So maybe this is going to do the same. So if this is a range, which I think it probably part range, we've actually had a bit of a breakout there. So if we can get a high low here, it might not be a bad option. But what I am also seeing, whether I think it's probably irrelevant in all fairness, but I think make a higher low here, so that might be an option. Change your profit, Chris. 1 point is not. Are you still taking a point, are you, Chris? Yeah. I'll tell you what, I went through. I changed to 2 points. Oh, okay, yeah. I think 2 points really is the gold standard, personally. I went through max trades maybe 3 or 4 months ago, 4 months ago, and I noted 105 trades, and 103 of them made over 2 points. So it's a no-brainer for me. I mean, numbers like that, especially when you're going from 1 to 2, you're doubling your profit every time. And if it works 103 times out of 5, even if it worked 80% of the time or 70% of the time, you're still better off. Yeah, I think 6 ticks is the minimum now. I know people like Marco and Daniel and that go for 6 ticks. So yeah, so I'm at 10 at the moment, but I do try and drop my order in actually at the close. I wait for the next bar to trigger up and drop it at the close. So effectively, that would be 9 ticks if you were taking above 1 tick above. I know. I think most people trade 2 points. I know, obviously, people like I know Taylor from Top Pick tends to do 2, 3, or 4. I've seen him do a mixture of those. My big worry with Mac, if he looks the trades he marked, could easily see that 2 or 3 points far more profitable. Yeah, I never quite know why he does that. The thing is, he's probably been doing it for that long, and he makes a lot of money off his runners, that perhaps it's just the way he's always done it, and why change something that, why trying to fix something that's not broken. So, but that thought's crossed my mind a few times. Surely if he looks through his trades, he'd go for a bit more, but I don't know, perhaps it's the only way he's ever known. And perhaps it's the way it works. But I've been trading enough now to know that price action does work. It really works, and I think most of the time when you lose a trade, it's because of lack of experience. You may have got trapped, or you may have taken a slightly weak signal bar. But I can come to the conclusion now of every trade I do why it didn't work. So I think price action is about 97% accurate, maybe even a little bit more. That can do it since his win rate. Oh, absolutely, yeah. I mean, he's not short of money, Mac. He's not short of money. He's into real estate as well. He's been trading for years. He's not short of money. Why, you know, if he's used to one point, why change it if he makes a lot of money? I mean, if you look back on some of his older videos, I've seen, I would say, a lot of the time, tick above, tick below, you would average a 1.5 1.75. You know, so it probably didn't seem that bad back then. Just out of curiosity, though, if you're bored one day, look back on some of Mac's older videos. You'll be surprised how his trading was a bit different. So if I look on his videos now and go back to the oldest, let's ping something up. I have got the volume off, but let's just so just out of curiosity, we'll come to the topic. I'm just going to bring this in now. He's taking that trade there. We've got a leg down, 2 legs up. He's taking he's going long there, Mac is. Yeah. Let me think. He must be going long there. He's actually coming early. And look where his stop is. Stop's not behind there. Look where his stop is. And it's still... Sorry about that. That's where his stop is. Look, 6, 7, 8. 6, 7, 8, 9. It's 3.5 points. No, tell a lie. Sorry about this. Sorry if I'm annoying you. 8.5, 9.5. 6, 7, 8. All that distance from there to there, and it's still only 2.5 points. If he puts it one tick below there, that would be 6.75, 7.75. It's like a point. It's 0.75. Yeah, perhaps he has entered on the engulfing, isn't he? But the point is, I mean, even if he moves that to one tick below there, 7, 8, it's 1.75 points. So, you know, points are a lot less then. You know, from 2 to 4, that's quite a big bar. Let's get rid of that. But yeah, look through some of his older ones. You'd be amazed how is you know, the way he trades. Sorry about that. Messed that around a bit now. Yeah, I would say most of the time, I think it was rare that there was over a 2-point risk. It's not unusual now to have a 3.5 point risk. You know, I'd say 2.75, 3 points is the average, I suppose. So, you know, if you're going for 6 ticks now, that will probably be the equivalent of a point then. And he's probably been doing it that long and it works. It's probably just the way he's doing it. You know, if he's making lots of money off runners, why change if it works? So far we're getting another push. So maybe that will start to fit. Maybe that will start to fit in a channel. I mean, if we can get up here and then get back down here, I'd say, yeah, it's probably working within that area. So we've had a leg up, and that looks like a couple of legs of correction. So if we can get a couple of legs back here, let's have a look. So we got the highs, all-time highs there. Did I try and just get rid of that? No. Let's just check it's not just a failed breakout. I do think with that leg up and a couple of pushes back that it's probably lightly working up. Yeah, see, this is the daily now. There does seem to be a bit of a channel working up there. So if we get a little bit further, we're getting close to the top of it. Yeah, so that's the daily. Just doesn't seem to want to stop going up, does it, lately? I'm thinking about looking more and more at NQ. Look at current big price channel going back yesterday, bounced off perfect 8. Yeah, it's definitely something to look at. I mean, I look at it. What I will say for you NQ guys, when you're used to the points work on here, I found it really hard to work out what the hell to go for. It's all I've ever known. I sort of started on this, so I tend to go for it. I know it's at the moment it's just under a 2-point risk on average, tick above, tick below, and I know what I go for. But it's quite different there. There seems to be so many more points. I don't quite remember how it works, but it probably you soon get used to it when you start trading it. But yeah, sometimes this is quite clear. But I do like it as a I don't know, let's call it an anchor chart, something just to help give me another perspective, because it's basically doing the same thing. If you look at that, we've gone up. It's more or less identical to a degree. And we push up, a couple of legs back, the same again, a couple of legs back and pushing up. But I find sometimes this tends to move a bit quicker than this, so it just helps me make better decisions. So I think I have noticed, I don't know if you noticed, Thomas Wade's last video, at the end of it, he showed a quick clip of the NQ and the CL. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, is CL oil? I don't know. So he put the NQ up. So whether he's starting to look at, other charts to trade or not, I don't know. It is. It's oil. Yeah, okay. I'm going to say the chart he showed was actually really nice. TW, I'm thinking about adding more products. Yeah, I don't think it's a bad thing. Sometimes, and you love the NQ, do you? Yeah, I know, what's it trades it, doesn't he? Nutty. I like him, he's a nice guy. Nutty trades it. The trouble is, they tend to trade, I think he trades the 2-minute chart. And doesn't Alpine trade the 5-minute chart? I don't know. But the 1500 on the NQ and the 2000 on here seem to almost be as close as I think you could probably get. But I don't think it hurts to have more than one chart. I mean, if this thing's going sideways and it's a bit more clear on another chart, it makes sense to trade the other chart. So now we've got a break and a new high. This is a lower high. Now the only issue I have of that at the moment, we do seem to be going up. Use the 400 tick on the NQ. Oh, that must be rapid. Let's have a look, shall we? Configure. Tick chart. It's the 400. So must have a quick brain. Look at it. Yeah, there was a lower high there, but the market's generally going up, so probably not the most advisable thing to do. Let's have a look. Okay, here's the 400 tick chart. Yeah, you got about 3 days of price action there. Looks like a full day to us, doesn't it? It tells us the same sort of thing. I think the thing is with something like this, there is more detail, so you probably would see. You probably, let's just open up a minute. You probably see more highs, higher lows, and stuff like that. I mean, you got a nice leg down there, clearly touching the bottom, clearly 3 touches, and a higher low there, which worked. Lower high there, which worked. That looks very lucrative, actually. Let's have a look there. So, let's call that the channel there. So we've had a break. May even consider that one. Yeah, so we got a leg down here, made one attempt to go higher, second attempt to go higher, fails down to the bottom. Yeah, there does seem to be, it makes sense, more detail, more pullbacks. Sort of, you could just about call that a lower high. I think Matt talked about that last night, but yeah, I mean, look how many more pullbacks there are. It's not easy, crazy at times. Yeah, that's interesting, that is. That's interesting. I mean, I suppose it makes sense, doesn't it? More detail. Because I started looking at the 1,000 tick chart, and we had a leg up, we had a break, 2 legs down. On the 1,000 tick chart, there was a beautiful higher low. On the 2,000 tick chart, there wasn't. So, I don't think it's about... At the end of the day, I've put a few comments on there at the Facebook page, and people say, oh, I think this or I think that. Regardless of what anybody thinks, Mac has said before, price action works on any chart, any time frame. It works exactly the same. So, at the end of the day, I think it's more of not is the chart any better or any worse to trade? Is the chart going to have more opportunities? Because ultimately, that's what you're looking for, opportunities. But that's interesting, that. If the system is based off what looks similar to the 5-minute chart, 5-minute chart is more like... Yeah, I've noticed the 5-minute chart, you get a series of small bars and then massive bars. That just doesn't look right to me, the 5-minute. Let's have a look at the 5-minute on the ES. Yeah, that's the 5-minute one. That just flipping looks way out to me. I think that will be hard to trade. I mean, look at it. It just looks way more choppy. I don't know whether it's good or not, but there seems to be such a big contrast between big bars. X system. It just, you know what I mean? It's just a bit, a lot more erratic. I don't know whether it's just me or what, but then if you go back to the 2,000 tick chart, look how much calmer it is and smoother. It's a lot smoother. There's so much of this, isn't there, with the 5-minute? I was just flicking onto the 1,000 and seeing what that looked like. You know, you would think there would possibly be more opportunities there. I don't know. Who knows? Who knows? It's all right. The only reason I'm bringing these is I'm not thinking about trading up here at the moment, because it does look like quite away from the EMA at the moment. So just sit tight. But I, you know, it makes sense that, you know, why people look for stuff, new ideas, new ways of looking at things. There's no magic bullet, but, you know, I've always had this one size doesn't suit everyone type of attitude. You know, if people have success with the NQ, it makes sense to trade the NQ. Some people say they don't like it because it moves too quick. Some people say they love it. Excuse me. Yeah, the only thing that put me off that is the point system. I've just found it a bit flipping confusing. For me, it seemed quite a bit tricky to manage your risk because the bars seem to be so, such a lot bigger, or the points. The point system's a bit different. I mean, it's pretty straightforward on here, but. That is starting to look more and more like it's reaching the top of something. Yeah, the trouble is with having a bigger chart like that, there's no way you'd trade up here. Whereas if you get rid of it, you could trade it on the smaller stuff. There is a second entry long there, which worked. My only issue I have with that is we've got a channel, we've got a break, and we've got a new high. Now, you don't know it's going to continue up. But there is a second entry long, mind you. It's a bit of a doji, so your guess is as good as mine. It's too far from the EMA for me. But there is possibly another channel working there. Trouble is, if you have the bigger channel there, I went for a phase of having that all the time. I was waiting for it to get down here to take a long, whereas and I was missing trades. You know, we get a trade like that, and if we get another second entry long or a break, you can go long there. But with the bigger channel, I kept waiting for. But the bigger channel sort of, at least it gives you an idea of what direction we're really going in. But I think it's still important to have that. Because if it does come down here, it is important to have that level. Because it come down here, you've got to obviously be careful with your decision making. So there does seem to be like a bit of a spike in the channel. It's working nice up there. So touch. So far. You know, the odd thing is, if you look on the NQ, all this area there actually kind of fits. And we've got a touch. It kind of looks like a push-up bit of sideways, another leg up within this channel. So I would say, yeah, we're coming close to a measured move there. So whether we'll push up there before we turn down, because we're at the top of this little channel here. So yeah, we're at the top there on the NQ, so that's interesting. So let's see what happens there. Do you think you could trade two different products at the same time? It's a tough one, that, mate. I think people do. What I would say is I would probably trade the ES on a 2000 tick chart and the ES on a 1500 or 1000 tick chart are the same. The bit that confuses me is the point system on the NQ. So flicking from one to another, I don't know whether I would find that confusing. I sort of gave it a go on a sim. But what I found is if I was in a trade here, going long, and this started to come down, I'll be thinking about getting out. So I don't know how I'd feel about that. But what I started finding then, actually, I like having this to help my decision making on this. So rather than trade the two charts, I think having this on here might save me the odd loss and might give me the odd extra winner. So, do you know what I mean? I think I'd benefit from that way, but trading the two together, if it was the same point system, then maybe, yeah. You know, even if, because I know a few people trade the 3,000 and 4,000. I know there's a guy, I think there's a couple of guys on the Facebook group that trade the 4,000, and effectively it's half as slow, isn't it? Half the speed, so you have a little bit more time to think. So I think there's people who do it. I don't know whether I would find it a bit confusing. But you can only try, you know, have one, you know, on your normal chart and have one on a sim and just try it. I don't think that's, as I say, I don't think there's one size fits all. I think some people it would work for, some people maybe not. For me, I don't think so. I think it would be too. Yeah, I think it would be too much. I like to be able to glance at that. If I'm going along here, I like to be able to glance at that I'm seeing the same picture, because sometimes the NQ I've noticed will look like it's coming down, and this for a minute might look like it's going up. So if I get conflicting pictures, I stay out of it, and I did it earlier and it saved me a loss. There was something around here. Was it there? Yeah. I was going to go long there and it looked bearish on the NQ, so I stayed out of it.
Order filled.
So it's still looking okay, this on the NQ at the moment. So another reason I jumped in there, it's a hidden second entry long. It's a bit of a doji, but it is working along that bottom line quite nice. And I am expecting it to hit this level here. Now, I did look at that as an overshoot, but I'm thinking, I don't think it is. It's only marginally out, but I expect it to hit that. So I expect, you know, it is a hidden second entry long. So we'll see how we go here. See, I'm not sure whether I'd want 10 ticks there. I tend to like getting out there, so I think that's more of 2 points. It's probably going to work, but there's something else I've just noticed. I'm going to go out for break even here. It gives me it. No, I've just noticed something I should have noticed earlier, and I didn't. That's interesting. That I'm glad I'm on a sim today, because
Target filled.
You muppet! I'm going to get back
Order
in there,
filled.
I know it's on a sim, but I'll tell you in a minute. Come on, up you get. It's going a bit sideways, but let's see if this works. It's all right, I'll tell you my thinking in a minute.
Stop filled.
Yeah, okay. I'm quite happy to do this, to be honest with you, because it's interesting. So what I hadn't noticed is we'd already hit this measured move, and then we started pushing up, and then we had this bearish bar, and I got out, and then it came down and started pushing up, so I got back in. But that, to me, now we've hit this high, so we try to go higher once, try to go high twice. So it is a hidden second entry long. It's off that key entry point, but the bar's a bit naff. But another reason to avoid it is because of this. That measured move's played out right to the tick. So is that going to continue going up? So there's two legs back there. Maybe there's two legs and it's going to go higher, but I wouldn't want to be going long here now. So it's really useful to have this, because I just glanced over and thought, oh, we've hit that measured move, which is why I got out. And then it started pushing up, so that's why I got back in. Now, obviously, I wouldn't be trading that like that on a sim, but it's quite useful. I didn't realise how useful it is playing around on a sim. I tend to not do it anymore because I trade with a normal account, but it's quite useful, especially when you're comparing one to the other. So we got a leg and a leg. Leg and a leg. So what would that have worked for? It was a weak position, to be fair. It is a hidden second entry long. It's off that key entry point, but the bar's a bit weak. So you'd have squeezed a point out of that. No more. So I still wouldn't be comfortable with going long here at the moment, because we've hit that measured move right to the tick. So this may be a trap. So there is this area that it could come down. So let's see if that triggers. That would be a fail second entry long. I'd like to see that trigger, because I think this is coming down.
Order filled.
So we've got a failure there. Now, I wouldn't normally do this, but this to me looks like we've hit this level, and that's a lot now. So nice lower high below the EMA. So let's assume now that that's a channel. So we could come down to this level here. Yeah, so with that hitting that measured move, I wouldn't want to be going long here. That's not to say it's not going to go long. So is this bull bar getting trapped on here? Looks like it might be. Yeah. Now that one's triggered and that's moving up. So you just don't know at the moment. It's just choppy at the moment, isn't it?
Target filled.
So it's going to have a break even there. I mean, there was no setup there really anyway. I just went short there just because that looking like it was going down just to see if it would work. It's just something I don't have much time to do actually, just to sort of a little bit of testing because I don't trade on a sim anymore. I haven't traded on a sim for a long time, but it is quite useful to just to sort of have a play around with it from time to time. And it's, especially as I pass these, I've got a bit of, almost got a bit of free time. But yeah, I think trading two. I think if you were going to trade two, I think if I had to trade two, I would probably take them up to the 3,000 tick to slow things down a little bit. Because you know, obviously markets move quick, and sometimes it's slow, but sometimes you've got really quick decisions to make. Bars move that quick, and you know, sometimes if you're a bit slow, your trade's gone, and you know. I mean, you could always practice the two of them on both sims, you know, out of your normal trading hours, just to see if they work, or you could go through them at the weekend, couldn't you? Just take everything to the right and then bring it in one bar at a time and see how it works. But yeah, I find this market a bit too quick for me at times. Sometimes you just don't have a lot of time to think. So I think trading two might just be a bit tough. You've just got 9 eval accounts. Oh, you've just got picked up 9. Is that where you've been for the last 20 minutes? Is it? It does take a bit of time, doesn't it? For the life of me, I don't know why they don't allow you to do them in batches of 5, or at least 2 at a time. But it does. I appreciate that, mate. Thank you. It is crazy. It does. How long you been gone? You've been gone about half an hour, haven't you? Each one took 2 minutes. It's not too bad. Just make sure you take the right ones because they tend to not do it now. Someone told me the other day they said they did it, but they sent an email back saying if it happens again, you're gonna lose it. But because the trouble is sometimes even something's staring you in the face and you cannot see it. I started using hotkeys. Have you? Did I ask? I brought that up maybe a year or so ago. It's that little square box, isn't it? I wish I wish there was a way of maybe coming out of a trade quick. See, you've got if you're let's say you're going short and you've got a runner, and all of a sudden the market goes down quick. Sometimes it'll go down really quick. You know, sometimes if it breaks below area, it'll go boom, 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 and then come back quick before you've had time to drag your stop down or your profit up or hit the close button. So I did wonder about that. It's a little square box, isn't it? I know a lot of traders use them, but I don't know what sort of time frames. I don't know whether having itchy fingers would help you. But, control something by etc. Yeah. Because I have this, I've still got it. This, what's it called? That. Let me have a look. I've still got that one. Where's that gone? Oh, I've still got that one-click trader software somewhere. Where is it? Remember that one-click trader? I had it down here. I don't know where it is now. I've got it somewhere. Click trader. Trouble is, I accidentally hit buy for some reason. over here. So I like the idea that the buy and the sell buttons are right up the top out the way, and you can't accidentally hit them. But this one was here, and I accidentally bought. Now, fortunately, I was able to close it without any losing a tick, but it did concern me. I kind of like the way I have to right-click and buy. It just gives me a little bit of time to think.
Order
You
cancelled.
will see me sometimes. If I'm convinced, I'm confident the trade, then I will click buy or sell because you're in quick. Now, the only slight disadvantage with that, if the market does move quick, you're sort of in at current price. But my experience of using that, it's not really done me any harm. But rather than have right click and then going like that and dragging it in, if you want to get in quick, it's quite useful to do that as well. But find it useless. Where'd you get it from? I'm sure I think you can get them on Amazon. Yeah, you just don't know for what sort of environment it's useful for. Scalping's quite quick, isn't it? It would concern me because I'm like sometimes I get itchy fingers, so it would probably concern me sometimes whether I jump in or not too quick. Okay, so upside was. So I would say, if this is a channel, which it starts to look like it, we may just do a bit of sideways, but we've got this bit of a channel here, so I wouldn't be shocked if this is a leg and we had another leg down to this level, which means I'm not thinking about going long just yet. I have a buy, sell, close and reverse on my keyboard. Don't click anything. Very quick. Yeah, there's probably lots of ways of doing things, isn't there? See, the trouble is with me sometimes, because I'm quite a wired person, sometimes I act before I think on the odd occasion, so I print myself, which I've laminated, big bit of card, says taking a trade, look left, slow down and think. If it doesn't feel right, let it go. Sometimes I have a tendency to get a bit excited and dive in. So I tend to slow things down a bit if I can. So we've got this channel with a break. There is a second entry short there. Now we are moving up at the moment, but this is looking more and more like a channel. So we've got a leg down here with a break. So I would have said personally, I would expect that trade to come down. Now I'm not taking it because generally I don't like to counter trend trade. It's something I've, well, with the exception of that one obviously, but I thought that was the top of a range. But having said that, if you didn't have this, do you know what? In fact, let's remove that and think about the small stuff, because we've got a channel here. And there's a channel here that looks like a bit of an overshoot. So it does. There's a bit of an overshoot there. We're coming down. So trouble is, this picture, it's a break from this channel, and this looks like we're going up. So same again. There's a failure there. I've got conflicting pictures, but we have tried multiple times to get up. We've tried twice there and once there, and it's rejected a bit. So would I want to go long here? Not really. If that comes down and takes out that failure, then we may start to go a bit sideways, which means we'll probably come down to this level here, which is about the same. So that trade might not be a bad short to take. So we got a leg down, one attempt to go higher, second attempt to go higher. Yeah, I've got mixed pictures here. See, this channel, it looks like a spike and channel on the NQ. It kind of looks like it fits. I mean, you could say it's that. But that looks better to me because we've touched twice there and there. So this looks like a break and possibly a new high. So let's see. Yeah, this was showing me up, and although we're in a bigger trend channel, there is a channel here, and that could come down. I'm not saying it will, but yeah, that one didn't trigger anyway. And the daily, we are getting very close to the tops of this channel. So So we're about to make a new high there. So this is the all-time highs again. So we could get a rejection from there. All-time highs. That was it. Now it's this. So we had two pushes up, very close to a measured move. We've hit a measured move, so we could get a drop. There is a possibility we could go a bit sideways. I slow things down by entering with only 2 micros. When those go green, I enter 2 minutes. Yeah, something I know a lot of people will trade where they'll sort of add to a trade, and I suppose sometimes when you add to it, if you I hear a lot of traders, excuse me, talking adding to a losing trade. Now, effectively, if you're adding to a losing trade, you're cutting down that overall risk, aren't you? It's like if crypto, if you buy, I don't know, Solana $100 and it drops to 50, if you buy more, it takes that average price down. I seen someone the other day add into a trade. It was going up, and they were selling. It was going up, and they were selling. They were assuming it was going to come down. Okay, so that's gone up, hit that all-time highs, and dropped strongly. So, well, I'm not sure it's all-time highs on the NQ. Maybe not quite. So yeah, I have a feeling we may end up just ranging here a bit. Could end up having just a big range day today. If you enter with micros and add to a loser, it doesn't get up. Yeah. There's a way of doing that, isn't there? But you ought to know what you're doing, though. And I think that's where me and you differ. I don't think I do. So this may just be a bigger range. We've had a break at the top of this if it is, and now we're having a break at the bottom, so whether we're going to retest and come down or whether, I don't really know, you could take that bottom down to here. It's on till the 13th, that is. So it's on for another 6 days after today. This 80% off. Yeah, if anybody wonders why I'm on a sim, these two evaluations have passed, so they'll be going live, one in a couple of days, one a couple of days after, so there's no point just getting in the extra screen time on a sim and just doing a little bit of experimenting really with this the NQ today. I usually have this up the top out here, but what day did I do that? One yesterday, the other one a couple of days before. I think one took 3 or 4 days. One took 2, I think. But thanks. Thank you. I don't seem to have a problem with building an account and making money. I seem to have an issue with keeping it. Thank you. Appreciate that. Back on the big. Are you really? Let's have a look. Should have left that there really, shouldn't I? Oh. Here we are, aren't we? See, the only issue I have with this, if you think we're going up, which it looks like we are, but it could just be 2 legs. So this area here, you'd be thinking about going long. Let's put it like that, even maybe. And sometimes this bigger picture can get you into trouble. I'm not saying it's not going to go long. So you got a leg down there with a break. So we got a little channel down there with a break. Yeah, the trouble is, if you are thinking about going long here, this could be the top of a range. That's the problem sometimes. Sometimes it'll just decide to range and then we'll start to work it off. And the fact that we've gone up there, we've come down, and we've had another couple of pushes and hit it again in reverse tells me that we may be in a bigger range, which is another reason I've drawn that, because we've just gone up a bit sideways, up a bit sideways. So it is always possible we could just drop. So what I would tend to do if I was thinking about possibly going long is wait for a higher low. Wait for a break and a new low, and then wait for a higher low. Because you just don't know. Just experience of and plenty of losing is showing me that you just got to be careful. I don't think there was anything to go long there anyway. That one, if you were thinking about going long there, didn't trigger, so... And straight away we've dropped. I had a hunch we may do, because this to me looks like it might be a bigger range, which is why I drew this bigger channel. But fortunately, I don't think no one got trapped there. That's the slight downside of having a big channel. Because really, I think the safest bet is to say we've had a push up, sideways, and a push up. So really, we've just had two legs up on a bigger time frame. But yeah, we are respecting this level. There's no denying that. But what I will say as well is, if this is a channel, I always find if we get to the top and come back to there, I'm happy to go along. But if we don't quite get up to the top, for me, it's losing momentum. And we didn't get up to this area. We stopped here. And we stopped here, and the fact that we've pulled back and we've gone up again and reversed quite strongly tells me that it may be a bigger range. It may be this small range at the moment. It could push back up into here, but I just have my gut tells me that this is probably just a bigger range. We may end up doing this for the rest of the day. It's hard to say. We had the same yesterday, more or less the same the day before. So at the moment, it does just seem like we're doing some sideways. And another reason as well, I'm not convinced we're going up again, is we've hit all-time highs again and we've come back up and retested it. So I think there's a bunch of reasons why this might, turn from this area, because of this all-time highs, which we've bounced and we've had, we've come down and we've pushed again. And as soon as we've hit that, it's dropped quite strongly, 7 or 8 points with a bit of a pullback. So it's hard to say at the moment. I wouldn't like to guess what it's going to do. It could go up, it could go down. But the fact that it's done this is just telling me just be cautious. Let's have a look at this. So, yeah, it looks like a leg up sideways and a leg up sideways. There's no bigger channel on the NQ, that's for certain. It just misses that bit. If you go from here, it fits nice there, but I'll tell a lie, I didn't see that bit, but see, that actually does more look like a channel, doesn't it? Which would mean it could come down a bit further. So it's weird, isn't it? See, that actually looks a bit cleaner than this. Doesn't it? It looks a lot cleaner. Touch. Mind you, there's only 2 touches there, so it's that's the trouble with trading. You think, all I've got to do is learn a strategy. It's not quite that simple. There's so much to it. There's so much to it. It does seem easy when you see someone trade, but you don't realise what's going on inside their brain, all that fine-tuning year after year. So it's so hard to say. See, it's touched more on here, but the NQ, it's only really touched once and twice. So this just may be a couple of legs. Should do that. So let's have a look. So let's say we got a leg down there and a leg down there, which we're already surpassed anyway. We take that down a bit. Yeah, that's any possible measure leg down there is more than done. So let's have a look. Yeah, see, sometimes you've got conflicting pictures. I think that's a good thing, because that tells you just be cautious. Yeah, I was thinking if I could adjust that. There's no way I could adjust that really to sort of even take that in. I mean, you could, because of the way the top sides fit in, you could always say, depending on where that comes out, that there may be a bit of a spiking channel. Now that would fit. And what does the backside fit like? Not bad at all. So there is a possibility there's a bit of a spiking channel, but I don't like doing that. If there's a push-up and a proper break, it doesn't look much of a spiking channel, that, and sometimes it can get you in trouble if you start to go long and it comes down further. So just for now, I'm going to put it like that. Because it fitted really nice, and just to adjust it, I think sometimes you can get in trouble. I think it's best to assume it may just be a bit of a break. But then you got this. These are the mixed feelings. Oh, excuse me. Never mind, I'm on the 2000 NQ, so different. Are you really? Okay, it's probably not much different, is it? Let me have a look. Well, it must be if you've said that, so let's have a look at the 2000. Right, okay. Yeah, it's not much different, to be honest with you. That fits okay, so we got a touch, a touch, a touch. Well, that actually fits quite nice. Yeah, I get why you're doing here, so it's hard to make a decision here, isn't it? So we got 2 legs down, high or low. What the trouble is, yeah. See, when I have mixed pictures like this, I tend to stay out. This looks like it could bounce and come down. This looks like it's trying to push up. So, I mean, they could both go up, or they could both go down, but let's put that there a second. There's nothing for us to trade really on this chart. There is a higher low there. Nomad J, what are you using a trade? I'm assuming you're using a trade copy, aren't you? At the same time, yeah. I mean, it does seem like it's pushing up. There's not a great deal for us there, really. I mean, you may think a little bit of sideways and we're pushing up there, but I haven't figured that out yet. Waiting 4 hours to count to sell. Okay. A bit of advice. Personally, ask anybody else. I would stick to are you trading on? Are you trading on Tradeovate? I think someone told me Tradeovate is our own. Someone might confirm that. Because personally, I would go for a Replicanto Tradeovate. Yeah, I'm sure someone told me you can do it in Tradeovate without any extra software. I don't know if anybody else can confirm that. Oh, there you go. Happy days. I was going to say, just be careful of the Apex one. They did update the Apex one, but people still said they've had problems with it. I know the Replicanto one, you tend to get about an update every other week or something. I've had no issues with that, I think. But if you got your own, yeah. So there is a bit of a failure there. So that does look like it's going up. Same again, no setup for us here, fortunately. It's just straight up. So whether got a replicant to update this. Yeah, well, this morning I think I had one yesterday. It might have just been that one. Was it 03 or something? Isn't it? I got to say I love having them because it just means they're just improving them and making things better and more reliable. And I love the fact that they do that. Because say there was nothing with the Apex one, and then obviously they updated it, didn't they? They updated it a month ago, something like that. Trouble is, I've got both, but I just lost faith with the Apex trade copy. I'm not saying that the new one's bad; it might be okay, but I then went on to Replicanto, and to be fair, it just runs smoothly. So you get to know something, you get to trust something, you stick with it, don't you? If it's worked for you, don't change it. If the Apex one's worked for you, I still from time to time hear people say they've used the Apex one, they've never had a problem with it. So it does make you wonder whether it may be down to your computer system, maybe not quite quick enough, because obviously your processing power makes a difference. If something's got a trigger and it's got to trigger multiple ones. But I do like Replicant. So, Artie, how you doing, my friend? And Apex would not take in responsibility. Yeah. The trouble is, if you, I did mention your thing yesterday. I got it on actually. What's it you did? Did you see? I put it on. I'll never get over that ever. I'll never get over that. Cool. Yeah, I know. Yeah. If you sell something and it goes wrong, surely responsible for it. It would make sense, wouldn't it? Yeah, I don't quite get it. Apex will say you have to use Rhythmic as part of their system. And well, if it goes wrong, it's not our fault. I don't see how you can say that. So you just have to do the best you can, really, don't you? Yeah, it is a bit, isn't it? It is a bit of a cop-out. Hopefully they're working to improve it, maybe keeping on top of it with Rhythmic. Because obviously when it goes wrong, they just get a barrage of emails, and obviously it costs them money and time and man hours. So, they probably they don't want the hassle themselves, because I know people like Chris Childers. He works for Apex, but he's also a trader. So he doesn't want headaches as well if it goes wrong, and I think most people who work for Apex are traders. So they got the same headache we have. So, I don't want it to not work. I'm going to listen to that RT every day when I start live on Friday on one of my accounts. I'm going to listen to it because I noticed last night you shortened it as well, haven't you, to 17 minutes. It was 20 minutes and you shortened it. I think it's important to listen to some motivational stuff before you trade. I know a lot of people, do a little bit of mind work or a little bit of relaxing techniques and stuff like that. Actually, somebody said what was the link to it yesterday. I right-clicked it and couldn't put a link on here. I thought I could, actually. Let me find out where it is. There it is. The volume's off, isn't it? Yeah, that's it there. So I couldn't find a link to it. But that's it there. So I couldn't seem to... Let's click share. I can't do it, can I? If I click copy and then select and paste. Oh, there we go. Happy days. There you go. There you go. So there's the link for it. It should work, shouldn't it? Beautiful. There you go. There's the link for it. He's put what Art has done is he's linked a bunch of them together to give you sort of the best of the best. There there is
Order filled.
Now I'm only on a sim, but we got a leg and a break, and this does look a push up with a break, and it's right off this key entry point. But yeah, have a watch of it, have a listen to it, sorry, before you trade. I think it'll help you. Actually, let's get out of that for break even. It's just a first entry, really, isn't it? This could just absolutely tank. It reflects what we're doing. Yeah, it's good. Listen to it, definitely. I think we all need take notice of what I'm doing here. This is a sim. I'm just doing a little bit of experimenting at the moment. Yeah, it's important to listen to stuff like that just to give you that little bit of a boost.
Filled.
So yeah, this is that issue I have with doing bigger channels. You'll be looking for longs there. Now, bearing in mind it's only a first entry, but it just looks to me like we may be coming down. So yeah, have a listen to it. Let's have a look. See, we're still holding this line at the moment. That's a good question. I can make money, but I have an issue with keeping it. Now, I was trading 2 contracts, which was just too much risk. So I took a gamble, and it didn't go well for me. So I've just introducing some new rules now. I'm reducing down to 1 contract. 2 is just too much. You lose a big trade. I think I was down $425. It's just too much, really. And if I get 1 loss in a day, I'll swap over onto a sim. Beauty about being that is it's good for discipline. And I think if you know you can only take 1 trade a day, you're probably going to hold on for a better trade. So I've got 2 more of these pass. One goes live day after tomorrow, and the other one on Monday or Tuesday. Hence the sim at the moment. I just did 2 micros just to count these as the days. So see, so far we still seem to be holding here. So Pipper in that order on that motivation. I trimmed it. Yeah, there was another one I used to listen to as well.
Order filled.
There's another one I used to listen to. Like up, we've come off this bottom, so let's try this. There's another one I used to listen to. What was it? This guy made it for himself. I thought that was quite good. Can you see how this works, though? You get a bullish bar there, you take it, it triggers you, comes down, stops you out. It just shows you how this it just sort of knows where these positions are. Trading a sim to scratch an itch after lose, something like that, yeah. I've been playing around more with the NQ with it, looking for, if it looks good here, taking it on there. Yeah, but sometimes it is good to have a little bit of playing around and a bit of experimenting.
Stop filled.
That's so frustrating. It just knows, doesn't it? You watch. If I went short
Order
here,
filled.
watch it go up and take me out. So if I went short here,
Order filled.
Oh, now it'll work. So we're coming to this level now. Let's see what happens here. So I dare say you will probably take there as your failure. Okay, that's right on that thing there.
Target filled.
Yeah, okay, I misjudged that one, but it worked, that one anyway. I was just trying to make a point that it was going to take me out, and it worked. But there you go. So it is just looking like a big range there, I think, at the moment. But yeah, see what happens. It comes down to this area. You take a trade, traps you, comes straight back down. It's so efficient, this market. See, we'd push up like that, 2 legs back. You're looking for a long. Yeah, it's just it annoys me, this market. Sometimes it does. Just goes to show you got to wait for a really good setup. Otherwise, it'll just walk all over you. See, leg. See, we're getting close to this now. One Friday, one Tuesday. I think one's 2 days late. Friday, Monday, Tuesday. Yeah, one Friday. What day's today? It's Wednesday day, isn't it? Wednesday today. One day after tomorrow. So I'll trade a sim again tomorrow, and then the one will go live Friday, and one will go live, I think it's Tuesday. And I'm changing things. I'm reducing risk. I've always just risked too much. And it's just clearly just adds too much stress. You lose, a third of your pot on a bad trade. It's just too much. So I'm just going to slow it down a bit. So if I lose, well, I'm reducing my losses as well. If I lose one trade, I'll go straight onto a sim, which will give me a chance to sort of chill out anyway. And at least that way, I'll never lose more than one in a day. If it's too much risk and it's affecting you too much, you've just got to change things. That's anything you can do. I don't have a problem with making money. It's when I get losses, that's what affects me. I'm not very good at losing. Cut out the bad trades and slow it down. Yeah. See, before I had that big loss, I'd lost one trade in 14. So, I can hold my own. It's just when I get a loss, it has that psychological effect on me. It's getting better, but if it's a big loss, it does affect me. So the simple answer is to reduce the loss size. I mean, if you talk about professional traders, they tend to talk about 1 to 3%. There is one guy I watch on YouTube, the trader, the guy from Dubai. He trades risk 2%. But the trouble is, I mean, we're not risking our own money here. We're risking Apex's. But if you've got a $2,500 drawdown and you lose a big bar of $400, you're losing about 12 or 13% of your pot. Now, before I'd built up to about $1,500 on my PAs. You lose $425 and you've lost nearly a third of your pot in one trade. It makes sense you're going to struggle. I think if you took a professional trader and got him to risk a third of his pot on a trader, I think that would affect him psychologically. So the simple answer is to reduce the risk until it works. So I'm just coming down to one contract. So at least, 3, today it's just under 2.25. So you're talking 2 3/4 point risk with a tick above. So, even 3 points, it's $150 loss, which is doable. But if you get a big loss, that $400 trade, that would have been a $200 on a one contract. So it wouldn't have been nowhere near as damaging. So. The strategy is almost counterintuitive with prop trading 8 ticks for 4 tick win. Yeah, I don't do that. I don't think as many do. I tend to go for around about, at the moment, I've got this, I've been tossing between 2 and 3 points, but I think probably the best compromise is to go for 10 ticks. But the beauty is, if I take a short on this bar here, I'll hold my limit order actually on the close. Obviously, we'll talk to try to put it 1 tick below. So if I'm going for 10 ticks, I'll save myself a tick there. So effectively, I'm going for a 9 tick profit, trading 1 tick below there. So it's only an extra tick, more than 2 points. So I think that'll be fine. But whatever you do, you've just got to stick to it and stick to it. Really, let it play out. It's okay. See, if the numbers say that it's effective and it makes profit, you have to commit every time. Otherwise, the numbers will change. You go for 70. Yeah, you can't say I'm going for 3 points and then now and again change it, because if you've based on your decisions on the numbers, which say, based on so many trades, you make this much profit. If you start taking less, then, you're going to struggle. There is a leg down and then a break. That's probably not a bad trade, although it is only a first entry. Trouble is, we're on this line now of this channel, so there is a possibility it could push up. So I'm leaving that short, and it's weird, isn't it? It's triggered and shot straight up. So this market is very, very good at knowing where weak positions. It's a weak position. It does look nice channel down. It looks lovely, to be fair. But it is only a first entry, which is, I think, why we trade second entries. But if you look at that, it triggers you, stop you straight out. Now, I and ahed back to click sell there, but this is telling me we're holding at the moment on this uptrend, so don't think about going short yet. And rightly so, if I'd have taken that, it would have gone down 2 ticks and gone out and stopped me out. Because at the moment we're still seem to be holding. There is a possibility that we're still sort of, I don't know, we could go up. So, link does not work, unfortunately. Does it not? Okay. Tell you what, I'll just get it up here so you can see it. Where are you? Yeah. I'll just get up. You should be able to just nip into it then. That's it there. So just take a screenshot of that or a picture of it or something, RTB, and just type in that best motivational speech compilation. So just make a note of that. You got it? I mean, you can always play this back after, can't you? Click it then. So just pipe in here. Have you read The Best Loser Wins? I've got it on an audio book. I did say a couple of weeks ago I was going to read it again, and I haven't. I kept falling asleep. Where is it? It's here. Should be straight ready to go, actually. I'll put it on again. I'll put it on tonight. Where is it? Library. Best Loser Wins. Yeah.
But every time I bought low, it always went low.
That's it there. Got an Audible. Yeah. Yeah, I seem to be okay at making money. Just not so good at keeping it. So let's have a look. Are we coming down? Let's see what happens here. We do seem to be coming down, don't we? So that's no good, unfortunately. It's pretty great. Oh, excellent. I'll have a listen to it tonight. Yeah, I mean, I started off on those 2 accounts. I had 14 trades with 1 loss. And then when I got a loss, I had another one straight after. So it's that psychological side which gets you, which is why I've decided lose 1 trade in a day and then forget it then for the day. I'll go straight onto a sim, which will give me a chance to chill out and relax. And then I'll come back the following day and trade. So at least knowing that what I find is when I come back the following day, I'm perfectly fine. But trading again in that day, it causes me problems. So I think the good thing to do is just to say, okay, it's just to say, okay, 1 loss and that's it. I go on to a sim. That way it'll give me time to, I'm going to take that. That way, it'll give me time to just relax and chill out.
Order submitted.
And come back tomorrow. It's a fight to keep it. We like to win, but we hate to lose. So for me, it's anger management years. But still alive in the markets. Good on you, mate. Good on you. Yeah, it is, isn't it? I mean, I've read so much about you need to accept it. But does it ever become natural to accept it? I suppose it does in time. It is hard, isn't it, to give it up when you've sort of made it. So, I figure, okay, if I find it hard, the best thing to do is when I take a loss is to just not trade again for a while until the following day. But the trouble is, it's very easy for me to shut down that stream and start trading again. Within the height of emotion.
Order filled.
This is only sim stuff anyway. We've got a channel down. We've made a bunch of times to go higher. I think there's a good chance that's coming down. So, leg and a leg. So, yeah, I think it's good to... if I switch straight onto a sim, it stops me switching off and going to trade it on the quiet, doesn't it? So if I just switch straight onto a sim and I can trade out the rest of the day, then that way I'm still getting some screen time. you know, and so on. Let's get out of the lows here, I think. Yeah. For some reason, it's easy, but not for me. I am a stubborn person. Yeah, it sounds like you're a lot like me, Alex. Yeah, it sounds you're a lot like me. But I think what I think is when you start to, I don't know, when you start to build an account, if you can manage to get away, once you can do it once and twice and 3 times, you'll stop blowing accounts and you'll start then to see your account starting to build. And once you see it starting to work and your account starting to build, I think then losing will become a bit easier. But while you're building an account, the trouble is when we're trading with Apex, when I start my PA account on Friday, I've not got any money. I'm started on 0, so you've got to make money. So if someone gave you $10,000 to put into your account, I think you'll protect it. I think you'll, really try hard to protect it. But when you've got to make something from nothing, theoretically, you've got nothing to lose. And when you've got nothing to lose is the time that you're at your most vulnerable and you're more likely to jump and take a silly trade. So that's the problem, really. We're starting from 0. We've got nothing to lose. So, you've got nothing to lose. You know what I mean? Create a cushion. Yeah, you've got to get so far. Do you know what I do? I like the way that Alpine does it. When he gets to 2,600 or just over, he takes a payment on that account. So that account has cost him a $35 evaluation and $140 for the fees. So that account has cost him $175. If he makes 2,000, that he's made 11 times. He's 11x'd his money, so that account is more than paid for itself. So what he does then is he uses a chunk of the money he's made to buy more PA accounts. So effectively, those PA accounts are now have got $500. So he reduces the risk on them and just lets them play in the background with his other accounts. And if it manages to build up, he's playing with free money then. So if he can build it up, to another payment, then great. You'll let those accounts ride then. Wish he would discuss his strategy. Yeah, he doesn't, does he? He trades the open, doesn't he? Now I'm assuming he trades at 230. So if there's what you could probably do is watch the NQ when he initially trades and see if you can identify any sort of a rush. But he trades 3 contracts or 4 contracts, but he only goes for 6 ticks. But yeah, he thinks that he's worried that Apex will ban him, but I don't see why. You can trade any way you bloody like. I mean, apparently you can't trade the news. Yes, correct. Hey, Michael, how you doing? 80% off. How you doing, Michael? Yeah, so as long as you're not trading the news, you can trade the open. What's wrong with that? If he's got a strategy that works, you'd be a moron not to use it, wouldn't you? You'd be daft not to. So I don't know why he does it. Whether he just wants to keep it to himself, and he thinks if people, start making a lot of money out of it, Apex might ban him. I think that's what he thinks, but of course they can't. It's if you've got a strategy that works and makes money, kudos to you. Any trader will tell you that. So why they would want to stop him and that, I don't know. He doesn't make a fortune. He usually makes a $300 trade, doesn't he? $303 usually. So I don't get it. Whether there's another reason or not, I don't know. So I don't know. Yeah, I wish he would. It's kind of I started watching a bit and I thought, why am I watching him? he's not really showing me anything. But he gets quite a few followers, but he doesn't really trade much. You don't see him trade much, which I think's, what's the point of watching someone sort of do something if you don't really learn anything? I put together a patchwork indicator on NinjaTrader because I don't code, but it works for me. What does that do for you, bud? Patchwork indicator. What does that do for you? When we sign our Apex contracts, we accept that they could ban us for anything, anytime. Do we? I don't see how they can ban you for something that you're not doing wrong. I mean, they've got rules, haven't they? It seems like an odd thing to say. They've got a sign you that says you can ban me anytime. That's strange, that is. That's odd, that. As long as you're not doing anything illegal or you're trying to, if it's a legitimate strategy, well, if it's making him regular money, it's a legitimate strategy. Shows tops and bottoms. It's a good idea. Oh, I got you. Yeah, I got you. Interesting. Yeah, I don't know how they can ban you because they don't like your strategy. If you trade the news and catching massive moves, but it doesn't. He makes about $300 per account. They keep paying him. He's recently earned $24,000 out of them. Mind you, if you have got an effective strategy that you can make money, you'll soon make money somewhere else. I mean, you would think Apex would copy his trades if he's really good at it. I mean, if you've got a guy who makes a ton of money, you can find out, what he does and copy his trades. It's a funny old market today, in all fairness. Yeah, I'm just playing around today, really. Okay, I'm going to let this play out, and I think I'm going to knock on the head for the day, I think. Second entry short there. I'll add to that.
Order submitted. Order cancelled.
It's a hard market to trade today. It's a bit all over the place.
Stop filled.
Oh, I took that in quick. Didn't even see that move. Okay, that's it for today, I think. Just a bit of playing around to a day, a little bit of experimenting and that. But these, just been on a sim today, so these two have passed. One goes live down to tomorrow, the other one is Tuesday, I think. So there you go. I'll be back again tomorrow. Same again, sim tomorrow, but then obviously it's trading properly on Friday. So it's quite enjoyable actually to trade on a sim because you can pretty much do whatever you want, but it's kind of nice to sort of play around, and I tend to follow this a lot and make a lot of decisions on here based on what I can see here, more or less the same. But if I'm thinking about going short and this is looking like it might be going up, it keeps me out of trades, and so far it saved me a few and made me a few. I know there was a trade on Friday that I wouldn't normally took, and I took it based on what I was seeing here, and it worked really well, and Mac marked it, so I think it was a valid trade. So there you go. So that's it for today, folks. I'll be back same time tomorrow, so if you're carrying on trading, best of luck. I hope you get a setup, and I will catch up with you all same time tomorrow. Don't forget the 8%'s on. It's on for about another 6 days, so 8% off all the valuations and 50% off resets. I kind of don't get the reset, really. If you can get 80% off, why reset? If you're 3 days in and you fail, why pay $45 for a reset when you can pay $33 for a new evaluation? Doesn't seem to make much sense, really. You too, buddy. You too. So I will see you all same time tomorrow. So best of luck, stay safe, and I'll catch up with you again tomorrow. Bye for now.